Hi, everybody. Today I'm taking another look at a mini game from 1974 called The Alamo. That's with an exclamation point. The title appeared in Conflict Magazine, issue number 7, published by Simulations Design Corporation. It looked like this. I never owned a copy, by the way. However, I did buy a different SDC game off eBay years and years ago that somebody yanked out of a different issue of Conflict, and that one was called NORAD. I liked it. I even made a video about it. So that's how I became aware of this family of micro games. Eventually, I knew I would come around to check out another one. So here we are back at the Alamo mission in 1836. Only with a little bit of research, I found all the scans I needed online to build a working copy from scratch. And if you know me, I'm always up for print and play projects. So I'll show you what I did to make a copy of the game for myself, and then I will explain the rules and describe how to play it. So this is what I came up with. You will notice I did not go with the original map. There are scans of it online, but it's ugly and it's not exactly printer friendly, being all yellow and stuff. So I decided to look for something nicer. Any map of the Alamo compound would do, but I decided to use a map from Blood of Noble Men from Worthington Games. This is a block game with a really attractive map, and it's available to download. So I just shrunk it down to 60% of its original size. And then by using a paint program, I just added a few details, black lines, and numbers. I needed to play the Alamo 74 setup. And I really like how you can see the mission building, the barracks, the horse and cattle pens. Everything is nicely rendered. Next, I printed out the counters. These have been scanned and you can resize them and print them out too, no problem. For the purposes of this video, I laminated mine and mounted them on old Scrabble tiles. None of this is necessary. However, I wanted my game to look nice. Finally, the rules. The original ones are printed right on the yellow map and they are hard to read off the colored paper, and in places they lack clarity, or let's just say they are lacking in general because they're so brief they can leave players with unanswered questions, especially regarding procedures between rounds. Anyway, here is my adjusted rule set. And this is not much more than about 8 bullet points. The important thing is it's a one pager, and please note I changed some points and details to deal with a serious balancing issue. So for those people who have played this game, they argue it's too hard for the Mexicans to win, and I think it's true. I believe it is as well, unless the Texans really, really screw up with the base rule set. They should survive every time. So I think I've come up with something that flips the knife's edge to favor the attackers, which is much more in line with the historical narrative, but still faithful to the original design. Okay, so very briefly, it's a two-player game. To win, the player of the Mexican side must exceed the intrinsic strength of one section of the Alamo mission in 3 turns or less. This is a slight alteration to the original rules. Anyway, conversely, the Republic of Texas player must repel 3 attacks by the Mexican army to win. The setup is as follows. The Republic of Texas player places 7 rifles, 7 cannon, and 10 dummy units on the map upside down. No more than 6 units are allowed to be in any one defensive area. Cannons cannot be moved after their initial placement either. Next, the Mexico player places all 18 infantry with no more than 4 units per attack zone. And you will notice I'm using dice facings to number the attack zones, and I have some spare markers out that might help with gameplay. Okay, so next the defender reveals his cannons. The Mexico player must then remove 1 unit opposite each cannon. Next, the Republic of Texas player may readjust his units so as long as they don't move 6-unit defensive area limit, and units cannot be moved from an area that will in turn be reinforced. Nothing in, if anything, leaves an area, and I'm not really sure what that restriction is supposed to simulate, but whatever, it works for the purposes of the game. The Mexico player can then take 4 cannon casualties as reinforcements and place them anywhere there is at least 1 Mexican unit already. The Republic of Texas player then fires cannons in zones reinforced by Mexico in this step. Mexico removes the casualties, Republic of Texas player then reveals dummies and rifleman units. Mexico player then removes one infantry opposite each defending rifleman. After this final step, if the number of Mexico's units exceeds the intrinsic strength of any Alamo defensive zone, the mission falls. If the mission survives, you have to restart the turn at the point where the Mexico player places his infantry. In subsequent turns, he can overlay up to 4 units over any remaining units left in any attack zone from the previous round. The base rules don't even really cover this aspect of the game, so I clarified that detail here. Additionally, I recommend play with the optional rules, and this is one thing I like about SDC games. They include advanced rules and or bonus features. And in this case, you can add a James Bowie and a Davy Crockett unit to the defender side, and you can add a General Santa Anna piece to the attacker side. And this is how I implement the bonus pieces. These rules are adjusted for balancing purposes as well. The Republic of Texas player adds the James Bowie unit. Bowie is a double strength rifleman, but he is so ill at the time of the battle he cannot move on the last turn, so that's turn 3. The defender also adds Davy Crockett. Crockett is a double strength rifleman without any restrictions. And as for Mexico, they get General Santa Anna on turn 3, and he's also a double strength unit. As you can see, Alamo 74 is essentially a simple procedural shell / guessing game, and it can be pretty fun. I found that with this custom rule set, most games will end on turn 3 with a Mexican victory unless Santa Anna makes very poor deployment decisions or the Republic of Texas player makes a lucky guess on the final turn. With this setup, I estimate the defenders have about a 33% chance of winning. So it took a couple of days to actually come up with a conclusion. Overall, I believe a person can have fun with this title as a print and play exercises if you are interested in the Alamo and if you like simple time filler setups. I watched a college football game as I slapped my copy together, and that's all the time I took to make the game. As the Texans, you want to put at least one cannon in each defensive area. The second turn redeployment phase for the defender will be the most important part of the entire game. As the Mexico player, you simply try to overload any area that you have troops left over from a previous round and hope the defender doesn't trip over his blanks and be impeded by movement restrictions. Guesswork and perhaps some bluffing will determine the outcome. Unlike the brief example I showed, most games will last the 3 turns. So all in all, it's not bad. I don't think I'd buy the original. However, I discovered that it does provide a fairly entertaining experience, and in the realm of print and play, you might find that it's worth a try. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more content coming soon.